Hello, friends. Welcome to Open for Learn. Can you imagine a person who turned an ordinary boy into the emperor of a unified India? A person whose policies are as relevant today as they were 2,500 years ago? A person whose wisdom was acknowledged even by a world conqueror like Alexander the Great? We are talking about Acharya Chanakya. This is not just a name, but an idea, a revolution, a flame that has been guiding the youth for generations. Today, we won't just talk about bookish knowledge. Instead, we will dive into the ocean of Chanakya's wisdom, which laid the foundation of an empire, and which can lay the foundation for success and meaning in your life today. So fasten your seatbelts because we are about to embark on an exciting journey where there will be political maneuvers as well as priceless principles for living life. This journey could change your perspective forever. Let's begin. Chanakya Neeti, Timeless Principles of Politics and Life. Introduction. The Rise of a Visionary. Approximately 2,400 years ago, the land of India was going through a turbulent period. The country, divided into small kingdoms, was plagued by internal conflicts and the fear of foreign invasions. Magadha, the most powerful kingdom of that time, was ruled by a decadent and tyrannical king named Dhanananda. The people were unhappy, and the future seemed bleak. In the midst of this darkness, a flame of knowledge was lit from the Gurukul of Takshashila. This flame was Acharya Vishnugupta, whom the world came to know as Chanakya. He had a simple attire, but his eyes held an extraordinary brilliance, and his mind was the abode of Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. When he advised King Dhanananda of Magadha to unite for the sake of the country's honor, the arrogant king insulted him. At that very moment, Chanakya untied his shika, the tuft of hair, and took a vow that he would not tie it back until he had completely destroyed the arrogant Nanda dynasty and placed a worthy ruler on the throne of Magadha. This was not just revenge for an insult, it was a resolution to build a unified and powerful India. This very resolution made Chanakya the greatest strategist, economist, and politician in history. His policies, which he compiled in his texts, Arthashastra and Chanakya Neeti, were not just for running a kingdom. They presented a complete philosophy for the upliftment of the individual, society, and the nation. Today, we will explore in detail those very principles of Chanakya Neeti that can guide us at every turn, from the corridors of politics to our personal lives. Part 1. Principles of Statecraft and Governance. A blueprint for a strong nation. Chanakya believed that the greatest strength of a nation lies in its unity and a strong system of governance. He envisioned an ideal state, which he explained through the Saptang Theory, the 7 limbs of the state. According to him, a state is composed of 7 limbs, and only when all 7 limbs function smoothly does the state progress. 1. Swami, the king or ruler. For Chanakya, the king was the brain of the state. He should not be just a ruler, but an ideal, a source of inspiration. Qualities. According to Chanakya, the king should be educated, self-controlled, having control over his senses, far-sighted, courageous, and father-like towards his subjects. He must walk the path of dharma, righteousness, and justice. Duties. The king's supreme duty is the happiness of his subjects. Chanakya's famous formula is Prajasuke Sukham, Rajana Prajanam, Kahita Hitam, Natma Priyam, Hitam, Rajana Prajanam, Tu Priyam Hitam. This means, in the happiness of his subjects lies the king's happiness, in their welfare his welfare. He shall not consider as good only that which is pleasing to him, but treat as beneficial to him whatever is pleasing to his subjects. 2. Amatya, the minister. Ministers are the eyes and ears of the state. Chanakya placed great emphasis on the selection of capable ministers. Selection process. He said that ministers should be selected based on their merit, honesty, loyalty to the king, and intelligence, not on the basis of lineage or flattery. Chanakya also prescribed several secret tests to check the integrity of ministers, known as the Upada Parikshan, collective decision. Chanakya believed that before making important decisions, the king must consult his council of ministers. But the final decision should be the king's, which should be wise and in the interest of the state. 3. Janapada, the land and its people. A nation is incomplete without its land and its people. Land. According to Chanakya, the state's land should be fertile, rich in resources, and naturally protected. for example, surrounded by rivers, mountains, or forests. People. The subjects should be loyal, hardworking, and honest towards their king and country. It is the duty of the state to provide them with security, justice, and opportunities for livelihood. Near 4. Durga, the fort. Forts are the defense line of the state. Importance. Chanakya strongly emphasized the construction of forts for security. He described various types of forts: water forts, mountain forts, forest forts, and desert forts. Strategic use. Forts not only protected against external attacks, but also served as a safe base for the army and a refuge for the public in times of emergency. 5. Kosha, the treasury. The treasury is the symbol of the state's economic power. Sources of income. Chanakya advocated for a robust tax system. His principle was that taxes should be collected like a bee collects nectar from a flower, which neither harms the flower nor fails to produce honey. This means the tax burden on the public should not be so heavy as to break their back. Expenditure. The treasury should be used for the maintenance of the army, public welfare works, administrative expenses, and disaster management. A full treasury makes the state self-reliant and capable of facing crises. 6. Danda, the army and law. Danda means the army and the judicial system, which establish discipline and security in the state. Army. The army should be powerful, disciplined, and loyal to its king. Chanakya repeatedly highlighted the importance of a large and well-organized army. Justice. The justice system should be impartial and swift. The guilty must be punished according to their crime, so that the fear of the law is maintained in society and the innocent feel safe. 7. Mitra, the ally. No state can exist in isolation. Allies or friendly nations are an important part of a state's foreign policy. Selection of allies. Chanakya said that an ally should be chosen very carefully. A king whose principles and interests align with one's own state can be a good friend. Samadhamadandabheda. This is the foundation of Chanakya's foreign policy. Sama, persuasion. First, an attempt should be made to persuade the enemy through dialogue and diplomacy. Dhamma, inducement. If persuasion fails, an attempt can be made to resolve the matter by offering wealth or a part of the kingdom, danda, force. When the first two methods fail, the enemy should be intimidated by displaying one's military power. Beta, division. This is the final and most effective measure in which the enemy is weakened by creating divisions among their friends, army, or family. Chanakya's Saptang Theory is just as relevant today. In today's context, the king is the government, the Amatya are the bureaucracy and advisors, Janapada is the country's land and its citizens, Durga is the defense system and internal security, Kosha is the economy, Danda is the military and judiciary, and Mitra are international allies. Only when all these parts work together can a country move towards becoming a Vishwaguru, world leader. Part 2. Principles for personal life. Formulas for success and contentment. Chanakya Neeti is not just a text on politics. It teaches the art of living. The principles given by him help a person become disciplined, intelligent, and successful. 1. The importance of knowledge and education. For Chanakya, knowledge was the greatest power. He said, Vidyatvam kanurpavam kaneva tulyam karakana. Svadese pujate raja vidvan sarvatra pujate. This means there is no comparison between a king and a scholar, because a king is revered only in his own country, whereas a scholar is revered everywhere. Lifelong learning. He believed that a person should keep learning throughout their life. Knowledge is the only wealth that no thief can steal and which increases by sharing. Practical knowledge. Chanakya valued practical knowledge more than bookish knowledge. He believed that true knowledge is that which is useful when the time comes. 2. Discipline and self-control. The first step to success is discipline. Chanakya believed that a person who cannot control their senses can never accomplish great things. Time management. He placed great emphasis on the proper use of time. He used to say that past time never returns. Every moment should be used to achieve one's goals. Distance from vices. Chanakya identified vices like gambling, excessive sleep, laziness, and lust as the biggest obstacles to a person's progress. 3. Wealth management and frugality. Chanakya was a skilled economist. He gave important principles on the acquisition, preservation, and proper use of wealth. Acquisition of wealth. He believed that one should always earn wealth through legitimate and ethical means. Wealth earned through unrighteous means does not last long. Importance of saving. Chanakya says, Apadarthe dhanam raksit, which means one should save wealth for times of adversity. A person must save a portion of their income for future uncertainties. Avoid excessive attachment. Wealth should be considered a means, not an end. Excessive attachment to wealth makes a person greedy and unethical. 4. Identifying friends and enemies. Chanakya gave infallible formulas for understanding human relationships, especially for identifying friends and enemies. Identifying a true friend. A true friend is one who does not leave your side during illness, famine, and enemy attack in the royal court and at the cremation ground. He used to say that one should be wary of friends who speak sweetly, as such people can stab you in the back. Never underestimate an enemy. Chanakya's principle was that one should correctly assess the strength of their enemy and never make the mistake of underestimating them. Disease and enemies should be eliminated at the very beginning. Otherwise, they grow to become incurable. Secret matters. One should never reveal their plans and weaknesses to anyone. This is the key to success. Manasa kintitam karyam vakaneva prakasayat. Mantrena raksayat gudam karikapiniyojayat. This means one should not reveal through speech the work conceived in the mind, but should protect it like a sacred mantra and apply it to the work while keeping it secret. 5. Rules for success and practical wisdom. Focus on the goal. Once you decide to do a task, do not back down for fear of failure. Only those who strive honestly succeed. Don't be overly straightforward. A famous saying of Chanakya is, Ati sarvatra varjayat. Excess should be avoided everywhere. In this context, he says that in the forest, straight trees are cut first, while crooked trees are left standing. Similarly, an overly honest and straightforward person is the first to be exploited in society. This does not mean becoming dishonest, but becoming worldly wise and shrewd. Learn from others' mistakes. Chanakya says that if you try to learn everything by making your own mistakes, this life will be too short. A wise person is one who learns from the mistakes of others. Part 3. Relevance of Chanakya Neeti in the modern era. Even after 2,500 years, the brilliance of Chanakya Neeti has not faded. His principles are as relevant and useful today, whether in the corporate world, politics, or our personal lives. In the corporate world, Chanakya's Saptang Theory can be seen as a management model for a company. The CEO, king, board of directors, amatya, company assets and employees, janapada, infrastructure, durga, finance, kosha, company policy and legal team, danda, and business partners, mitra. All these parts working together make a company successful. The policy of samadhamadana beta is still used to compete with rival companies. In politics and administration. For today's politicians and administrators, Chanakya Neeti is a guide. How a leader should be, how they should select their team, how to strengthen the country's economy and security. The answers to all these questions are found in Chanakya Neeti. In personal life. In today's stressful and competitive era, Chanakya's principles show us the path to balanced and successful life. Time management, financial planning, choosing the right friends, and a disciplined lifestyle. All these things have been more important today than ever before. A story. Chanakya's foresight. Once when Chandragupta Maurya had become the emperor of Magadha, his prime minister Chanakya convened a meeting of all the physicians of the kingdom. He said, I want no one in Magadha to fall ill. All of you must work together to find a solution for this. The physicians were astonished. They said, Acharya, how is this possible? If no one falls ill, how will we earn our livelihood? Chanakya smiled and said, that is exactly what I want. When the state pays you for your knowledge and for preventive care, why will you have to wait for someone to fall ill? Your job will be to keep people healthy, not to treat them after they get sick. This short story illustrates Chanakya's foresight. He would strike at the root of the problem. His goal was not just to find an immediate solution, but to create a system where the problem itself would not arise. This vision makes him a thinker far ahead of his time. Conclusion. The torch of knowledge that never extinguishes. Acharya Chanakya was not a person, but an institution. He taught us that even the biggest challenges can be faced with intelligence, strategy, and firm resolve. He united a fragmented nation and established an empire whose flag flew high for centuries. His policies are not limited to a specific time or place. They are universal and timeless. They teach us how a ruler should be a guardian to his people, how an individual should achieve their goals through discipline, and how a society, by being organized, can lead a nation to its ultimate glory. Chanakya's life itself is an inspiration. Born from the flame of an insult, he changed the course of history with the power of his knowledge and determination. He could have killed Dhanananan and become the king himself, but he did not. He was a worshipper of principles, not power. He made Chandragupta the emperor and continued to perform his duties as prime minister while living in a simple hut. This selfless attitude is what makes him an Acharya, a great teacher. So the next time you are in a dilemma in life, when you have to choose between right and wrong, when the path to your goal seems blurry, remember Acharya Chanakya. His principles are like a lighthouse that will continue to guide us for eternity. Friends, I hope you enjoyed this detailed discussion on Chanakya Neeti. It is a bottomless ocean of knowledge, and today we have tried to pick some precious pearls from it. If you want us to talk more deeply about any specific aspect of Chanakya Neeti, please let us know in the comments section. The very purpose of Open for Learn is to bring the hidden treasures of knowledge from our history to you, so that we can all build a better future together. If you like this video, please like it, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Open for Learn. Thank you very much for being with us on this journey of knowledge. See you in the next video with a new and informative topic. Until then, keep learning and keep moving forward. Jai Hind.